guys, Aldemir here with another video, and today, well, we're diving into, we're diving into karma, and it's really sad karma. So, as you've probably heard, Microsoft has done a lot of restructuring, cutbacks, shutting down things, and all kinds of bullshit, basically to try to save money. You know, because it came out when they first, if you don't know, not aware, when they first did their first cut a long time ago, not a long time ago, like last year, it was reported that these cuts came because Microsoft they weren't struggling, they weren't in trouble, they were trying to save or get back to where they were in terms of what I call, I don't know if what I'm about to say is what it's actually called, but it's what I call. It's percent over profit. What that means in my head is there's a certain amount of profit that every business says this is what we need to get to. You know, and Microsoft most typically goes over, a lot of corporations typically go over that profit, like a percentage, like 15%, 20%, and usually that's bonuses and blah blah blah. Microsoft got used to a certain profit over margin, you know, or percent over profit, and they want to keep it anyway. So, and that's what brought me to these articles today. Trying to find more information. So let's just dive right into this article, and then we'll get into my thoughts and my whatevers. All right. As much as half of the team working on The Elder Scrolls Online has been laid off, according to a report from Kotaku. Sorry, butchered it. Leading many to wonder how the game will continue. Earlier today, Microsoft began carrying out its reset of the Xbox brand by laying off thousands of employees. Although no studios are shutting down, many are being offloaded from Xbox and being sold to other companies or given the chance to go independent. Bethesda is also expected to focus on a small handful of franchises, which I'll get into, such as Fallout and The Elder Scrolls going forward. Unfortunately, one of the studios hit hardest by the rest appears to be ZeniMax Online Studios. Though the total number of those impacted is unknown, I've read in forums and places that it's around 35 people, but it could be more, I don't know. That's just what I've read in like Blue Sky messages and Reddit and Discords and stuff. This isn't the first time this has happened, as Xbox hit ZOS hard last year and canceled the sci-fi MMO at the studio, which is, if you remember right, that's the reason why Matt Farrar had left, because that was his passion project. Kotaku reported that sources from ZeniMax have expressed uncertainty on how The Elder Scrolls Online could continue on such a massive blow. The team seems to be reckoning with this publicity, as community manager Jessica Folsom took to the ESO forums to tell people that the game's roadmap is shifting and they need time to reevaluate it before sharing new plans. Looking beyond season 1, the roadmaps we previously shared will be shifting. We want to take this time to evaluate the work in front of us and then lock down an updated schedule. While we'd love to share the concrete details today, stepping back to get our plan straight will let us come back to you with a clear timeline. With such a massive deduction to ESO's development team, many players are fearing the worst for the game's future. It seems like the game will remain playable, but how much support will it get? That's the big question. So, before I get into much more of this, I saw like a list of people that were let go. It was a lot of senior people, but two of the people, sadly, I think a lot of us who played ESO and gone and seen their ESO lives and all that stuff actually know or have seen. Some of us have even talked to when we've gone to conventions. and that's Gina Bruno and Mike Finnegan, which I honestly think that just sucks, man. That really sucks, because I met those two in Las Vegas back when Greymore was announced. They did I lived in Vegas at the time, and they did a thing at what is it called? I don't remember the casino called now, but they did a convention there, and those two people, those Gina and Mike Finnegan, were just honestly just cool people, down to earth, really fun to talk to, and it's actually kind of sad, because these people relied on this was their job to pay their bills and put food on their table and feed their families, and now they can't. At least it's a layoff and not a firing. That is a little different, but that kind of sucks, and I mean, Mike Finnegan was involved in a lot, and I think that as much as people have said that The Elder Scrolls Online has brought in a lot of money and is like the golden goose, Microsoft has really punched them in the crotch a lot, and is really daring. It's like they're daring them to go on with less. I'm like, oh, you're doing good? Maybe not. And it's like, what are you doing? Okay, so now apparently the rest of the article goes into what fans think. I don't really care about that. I'm sorry. I mean, I do, but I don't. It's not any sort of continued information. I will tell you, no matter how we feel about Elder Scrolls Online, I want to take a minute to just kind of thank the devs for a minute. I have issues with you right now. Even though you're improving, you've gotten better with communication and all that. And I say, when it comes to a clear timeline, please take your time, but don't get rid of the communication that you're doing. It's been amazing, and it's actually keeping me interested in your game despite my issues with it, which is really just the necromancer class, and I think I just want to say thank you for bringing us the Elder Scrolls world and showing us it in a time where Bethesda decided to sit on their hands and not do anything with the IP that made them, literally made them, and without the Elder Scrolls Online and ZeniMax Online Studios, all of us who like the Elder Scrolls universe would have nowhere to go in terms of just playing that universe. Now, there's a lot of RPGs out there. If you want to get your RPG medieval, Middle Earth, scratch that itch, there's a lot of titles out there now. So I mean, you can definitely go and find one that is like Skyrim or is like The Witcher or whatever. But in terms of just the Elder Scrolls universe, we've had the Elder Scrolls Online, thankfully, since like 2014, and I want to thank you guys for that, because I love that universe. Now, I don't know why Microsoft is doing this, but it's like they are the Daedric Prince, like a new Daedric Prince of like greed and karma. Because let's shift to the next article, and then I'll get into what I was going to say. Here, scroll down. The boss of Bethesda has told staff the company must now focus on its strongest franchises. So they've let a lot of people go. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma called it the most significant restructure in Xbox history. Assisting Microsoft's gaming business is not healthy. That's their own fault. They keep cutting. It's their own fucking fault. Bethesda is hit particularly hard by the layoffs. To be successful in the future, we need to change course. We must strengthen our business, return to sustainable growth, and ensure we can continue investing in our franchises and our players. I know that it doesn't sound like today any easier. But what does that actually mean beyond layoffs and the likes of ID Studios, ZeniMax Online Studios, and elsewhere at Bethesda? Without naming names, to best position Bethesda for future growth, we are shifting from a planning module primarily centered on what's next for each independent studio to one that focuses on our strongest franchises and determining the content roadmap that best serves our players and Bethesda as a whole. From there, we'll align the right talent, technology, and resources across the organization to deliver on those priorities. IGN has already explored the changes at Bethesda mean focusing on big hitters such as The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, leaving, God, thankfully, I mean, Starfield might be gone, honestly. With Microsoft planning to sell or close Arcane Lion, Marvel's Blade is done. I wonder how Marvel feels about that. I mean, Marvel is bigger than Marvel might not be bigger than Microsoft, but Marvel, I mean, it's like Disney versus Microsoft, right? I mean, here it is. Marvel invested time in this game. Let it be done by a at the time a good company who made Dishonored, and now it's just like, oh yeah, well, Microsoft decided to shoot that in the face. Sorry. You know, Machine Games has survived the call with a new Wolfenstein game, pretty much an open secret at this point. But it's increasingly unlikely that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will get a sequel teased at the end of the game. With such a reduced headcount, ID Software may be left to support other games in development at Bethesda, such as Machine Games' Wolfenstein 3. And perhaps even a future Fallout game, both of which have first-person shooting, the genre ID specializes in. Where that leaves the likes of Dooms and Quake is unclear. Meanwhile, with Xbox hammering on the door of Fallout, New Vegas developer Obsidian, which is without a confirmed new project following the commercial failure of last year's Avowed and The Outer Worlds 2, may be tasked with making a new game in the franchise. If that happens, could Bethesda Studios help out? By working closely across the organization, sharing expertise and capabilities, and focusing our investments on the opportunities with the greatest potential, we believe we can better support our franchises and IPs with meaningful long-term potential. So, it's crazy. You know, when Bethesda sold to Microsoft, I thought it was the worst decision. No, I was like, this is just greed. It's just a money grab. That's all it is. Because ZeniMax Media and Bethesda don't need Microsoft. They were already successful. They were already this big, studio. And I was like, this is going to come back to bite him in the ass, because Microsoft is cold. Xbox, maybe not, but Microsoft is cold. And a lot of corporations are cold. They don't care. Like, they're very robotic and like super logical, I guess is the word I'm trying to think of. If anyone's ever seen like iRobot or any robot AI taking over the world type of thing, that's kind of what corporations are. They say, okay, this is our goal. What's the best way to get to that goal? And they do it regardless of what it takes out in its way, because that's the goal. If their goal is to get X% over profit, then, well, guess what? There's gonna be some sadness along the way, because they need to get to that goal and everyone else be damned. And I think this is karma. They never should have sold. They never ever should have sold. But in fairness, and I hate to say it because I'm not a huge fan of Microsoft right now, but I kind of understand their push in terms of focusing on big hitters, or maybe making Bethesda realize, hey, you haven't had a game of the year type game since Fallout 4, maybe even Skyrim. And guess what? It's not 2011 or 2015 anymore. That was a very long time ago. What are you doing? Fallout 76 failed. The Elder Scrolls Blades failed. Starfield failed. You guys are not doing well. And meanwhile, the Elder Scrolls is drowning. You didn't take advantage of this from a business standpoint. They didn't take advantage of the success of Skyrim. They didn't build off of it. As great as Skyrim is, the Elder Scrolls universe has kind of taken a hit. All those casual fans that came in because of Skyrim, guess what? They're now gone. There's no capitalization on those new fans. They moved on to other games or just their lives. And then Fallout is the franchise going on right now on Amazon, right? The TV series. By the time Fallout 5 comes out, the TV show will probably have been over for a few years. They're not capitalizing on it. So from a business standpoint, Bethesda really messed up. And Microsoft's like, yo, what the fuck? This is like big money opportunity, and you guys are just like, well, Starfield, no. Like, what? It's the best time. No, it's not. What they should have done is Fallout 4, and then Fallout 4 came out, what, 2015? 2014? Something like that? 2019, maybe you do The Elder Scrolls 6. And then 2023, 2024, you do Fallout 5. And then we'd be talking right now. And see, Fallout 5 would be coming out at a time with the Amazon TV series. And you'd be capitalizing on it. And raking in that money as a company. And maybe you could have stayed independent or bought your independence right now. Because as the other article said, they are, where is it? Yeah, many of the companies are being offloaded or sold to other companies, given a chance to go independent. Bethesda should go independent again. ZeniMax Media should break off and be like, yeah, we're good, but how can they? The most success they've had recently, Bethesda-wise, is Elder Scrolls Online. Doom was good, like a lot of games are good, but a lot of those franchises are gone. The Elder Scrolls Online, here's what I think. I think the Elder Scrolls Online lasts for another maybe 2 years, 3 years, and it's not because of a failure on their part. It's a failure on Microsoft's part, on Xbox's part. Now, if they can go independent again, I think ESO will be fine, because it's as much as I have problems with it, I think it's fine. But franchises like Starfield, Indiana Jones, where does that leave Doom? They say, because I think that what might happen is, from the sounds of it, and this may be a lot of guessing, especially here, is a lot of these companies, ID Software, maybe Arcane and Bethesda, they all become like one big gaming studio. I think isn't that what Rockstar does? They have Rockstar East and Rockstar this and Rockstar that, and they all got, each studio kind of works on different things, but they all kind of help each other, I think that's maybe what they might have to do. Like, they get everybody working on everybody, not only from Bethesda, but from ID Software, from Machine Games, from, all these other studios that are in the ZeniMax Media family working on one game and pushing it out. Maybe that's what they're gonna do now. Or Xbox tries to get the hell away from Microsoft. Obsidian is probably screwed. I mean, I liked Avowed. You know, I thought Avowed was really good. I had problems with it, but it's one of the few games I've been able to finish multiple times. Like, if you held a gun to my head and was like, hey, you need to finish this 3 more times or I'll shoot you in the head, I'd be like, oh no, don't make me do that. I could easily finish that 3 more times. The game's fun. Now, the problem with Avowed, and maybe the same with The Outer Worlds, is it's a B+ game in an ocean of B+ games. It doesn't stand out. It's not superior. It's not like Elden Ring. It's not like Expedition 33. It's not like, Kingdom Come franchise. It's not like Skyrim was. That's the problem. I think that was the main problem with these, is they're good games. I thought that they were fun. I thought The Outer Worlds first one was probably better than 2, but not probably, it was. But again, B+ game in an ocean of B+ games. There's just a lot of options now, which is what's going to kill The Elder Scrolls 6, in my opinion. Okay, I can go play something else in the same genre. I'm not going to wait for your ass. So apparently, Bethesda's boss also sent an email to staff. He says, team, I want to acknowledge the changes taking place across Xbox, including here at Bethesda, where a number of our colleagues have been impacted. Today's news affects people who have worked alongside us, inspired us, challenged us, helped build the studios, games, and culture that define Bethesda. Across our global organization, some employees are leaving the company. While certain countries review strategic options through processes required by local law, while each situation is different, what they share is uncertainty for people in our community. Yeah, I'm not gonna read all that, but basically it's like, we fucked up by selling, and I feel like what Microsoft's doing is they're trying to reduce Bethesda's workforce so they don't lose them. I mean, because what is Microsoft without Bethesda? I mean, they're still, what is the Xbox Game Studios without Bethesda? Sorry, I think that was a huge get for them. That and what, Activision right here, without those two, Xbox Game Studios is just, I don't know, average. And maybe that's the way it should have stayed. I think that if Bethesda was smart, they would somehow get the hell away from Xbox, or ZeniMax Media, I guess it is, instead of Bethesda, because ZeniMax Media is the parent company. They need to get the hell away from Microsoft, because they're just greedy. If Bethesda continues to be with them, if I had to guess, Fallout 5 might not even happen, because Bethesda will just be, there'll be nothing left. And you're like, no, they would never ever do that. Microsoft doesn't care. Like I said, they're cold, they're robotic. If they think that closing down a studio, any studio, will either save them money, bring them more profit, they'll do it. They don't care. They would rather sell Bethesda or close the studio if it means profit than keep them around. I mean, it's about profit, and again, I hear you. You're probably calling me an idiot. Okay, maybe. It's just an opinion. But if, let's say, rough number, it's a low number probably, but if the Elder Scrolls 6 brings them $1 million, right, a profit, but selling the studio or shutting down the studio will bring them $2 million. What do you think a cold corporation is going to do? They're going to chase the money. They don't care about us. They don't care about the players. So this is a sad day. Really sorry to everybody impacted, because that sucks, dude. Hopefully you find something soon. And again, thank you to ZeniMax devs, the ESO devs, for building this universe so all of us can have Tamriel. Because Bethesda doesn't seem to give a shit about it anymore. So someone has to, right? But we'll see what this means for the future of ESO. I mean, that might change, because we were apparently hinted that we were going to Winterhold. Maybe that's not happening anymore. Maybe it's different. You know, maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I think that this hit them very hard, and I don't know how many more years the Elder Scrolls Online devs can continue getting hit in the face when they are the golden goose, apparently. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I really hope that I've broken record, but one last time before I let you go, I really hope that ZeniMax Media, that owns Bethesda and all these studios, gets away from Microsoft. If Xbox is giving studios a chance to go independent, I think Bethesda and ZeniMax Media needs to go, hey, yo, over here, us. Bye. Get away from this Daedric prince of greed and slime and karma. Guys never should have fucking sold, dude. This is what you get. This is what you get for chasing greed. Sad. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.